On the night before, the day that Al Gore invented the internet, this is the show he dreamed of. It's the Flying Pigskin Show, dedicated to your Cincinnati Bengals. Welcome. I'm Ken Brew with my lovely co-host today, the lovely and talented, the vivacious, and the charming Catherine Nero.
That's me. I think we're on the shoulder of the information superhighway right now.
Trying
to get into the fast lane.
Well, you were doing social media for this last week, so you got to see this train wreck.
It was lovely. You know, it was one of those train wrecks that you just can't turn away from.
I know.
I think that's the beauty of it.
You know, and a lot of the same characters that were here last week are back this week, so I'm very excited about that. And what's even better is the Bengals are 2-0, so we got some good stuff to talk about.
We do, and you know, it's one of those deals where aren't all Bengals fans just like on the precipice of, okay, when does it happen?
Right.
When does it fall downhill?
Right.
No, not yet.
No. And last week, of course, Chris Riva was with us, and he's still working in the business, which is amazing after what happened last week.
Fingers crossed, we both will be after this one.
I think you'll be okay. Now, as I was watching this game, one of the things that struck me about this game is the Bengals didn't make a lot of big plays, but when they had to make big plays, they made them. The Sanu pass, the pass to Sanu, Gio Bernard's little shovel pass. Catherine, you worked in sports for a long time. I know you know this. Maybe some folks watching tonight, this morning don't. Fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter stats and all that. It's when do you make plays, and they made the plays they had to make when they made them.
And that is what was missing in the many years that I did cover the Bengals. I felt like those, you know, you'd get to those third down possessions where you're like, come on now, come on.
Right.
But no, but this game was different, and it wasn't. You're right, it wasn't big passes, and you see that like when they lost A.J. Green. They went to the running game, and typically that was one of the things that has suffered over the last, you know, maybe a couple of decades even. But they really adjusted, and things went right. And I think that's why all of us as Bengal fans are like, wait a minute, when does the other shoe drop? Maybe it doesn't drop.
That's so Cincinnati. It's just, you know, you always expect the worst, and oftentimes it happens. But I think it's because of the history of this team. It's just that you know at some point the wheels are come flying. But I can't remember, when did you get demoted to news?
Here's the way I look at it. Think of the worst possible time to cover the Bengals. That's when it was for me. I think it was 98 to about 2002.
So you weren't here in 2005?
No.
I mean, you were in news in 2000.
I was in news, so yes, I got to watch it, but not feel it.
You remember, it's just like, this is the year, and Dalton blows his knee out, and then it just disappears for like 5 years. I just sense that this is a better team, that there are no knuckleheads on the team like in 2005, and they just know exactly what they're doing out there, where in 2005 was like, whoa, this is happening to us. This team actually looks like it knows what it's doing.
And Ken, are you drinking the Kool-Aid?
I am.
I'm on the Kool-Aid completely.
Well, you're always the one, you say you're not drinking the Kool-Aid, but that sounds like somebody who's full up.
Well, you know, they've run out of methadone where I live, so I've got to. I've got to. But I'll tell you, you know why I'm drinking? By the way, that disembodied voice was the man who actually is the brains of this outfit, Matt Luke.
Is that brains in quotation marks?
It is, and his band of merry men. Matt, please introduce your posse back there.
This is Mike Stratman. He's doing several things. He's running audio.
He's playing Candy Crush.
I'm versatile.
He has his hammer right down here.
Wow.
And
wow.
Look,
for Candy Crush.
Yeah, for Candy Crush.
This is Brian. He's our graphics operator and doing many other myriad of things.
Right.
And
I thought that was
here,
A.J. Green for a moment. I'm sorry, but
he's very close. Take camera 5 or.
There's
the man who runs WCPO.com.
I'll get to him.
Mike, see, that's Mike.
There.
Mike's a little slower than he should be this morning.
Yeah, PJ O'Keefe runs WCPO. He actually invented WCPO.
I think his actual title, I mean, at least in the company directory, is Grand Poobah. I don't know why they just say runs.
Yes, that's
I'm right.
it's in the spirit of the Lion King.
Plus, you can't find those glasses everywhere.
Well, you can, but it's only at Halloween stores right now.
It's difficult to find
Party
when it's
City.
not October.
That's
Very
right.
difficult
That's
to find.
Right.
Here's why I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, okay? They had 472 yards of offense, and they held the other guys to 309. This is a team that ran up 563 yards of offense last week.
This is the way I look at it. We have all drunk the Kool-Aid from time to time, and it's because, oh, the passing game's great, or, ooh, look at this great running back we've got now. This is all parts and pieces. We've got great defense. They have great defense.
Right.
It's great, a great passing game when everybody's well. And then, of course, the running game has really come on under the new play calling. So I think that's why the Kool-Aid drinking is acceptable. At least that's what I'm telling myself.
It's tasting good.
And the other thing too is, we talked about this last week. Why is there no love for Andy Dalton?
There should be now.
No interceptions.
We need more touchdowns. That's why.
He's
That's
got
fair.
5.
Fair.
He's got 2 wins.
The reason the 2-0, first of all, 2-0 is great. It's great, but it's just 2. Everybody's got to
Look
slow.
at this one.
How many have they played?
Look at this guy. Come on,
Hey,
man.
2-0 is great.
What it is,
but
it's
just
perfect.
It's perfect.
It
Okay.
is perfect.
But they need more touchdowns. Okay. The reason they've been winning, and I'm all about everything on the offense, but the reason they're winning is the defense.
I agree with you.
Yesterday they only scored 3 points that mattered.
Right.
And that's why that happens.
Well, also, Nugent missed 3 field goals. You could
Exactly.
contend that it should be 9 more than that. It
We-
could be 9 more than that, or really 6.
In 2 football games, we've had 10 field goal attempts.
We've.
10.
I know.
Yes, we.
When you step off the
I'm
sports
a
desk,
we.
Ken, it's hard not to take control and say you're part of the team.
Have you ever gone to a game and sat in the stands?
Oh, yes,
That's
absolutely.
frightening for me.
I will tell you, the NFL is not for the faint of heart.
No.
It is not a Major League Baseball.
Mike stands on the field every week. He works a little part-time job working for the Bengals.
What do you do, Mike?
Freelance. I'm a grip.
A grip, what does that mean?
It's you know what I do, and
He's
I
got
get
a good
lot
grip. You know Dan Wood. You're familiar with Dan Wood, Ken.
Yes, I know Dan, yeah.
Dan works on the field on camera,
Yes.
and Mike is his support staff, if you will.
And interestingly, they're brothers-in-law as well.
Correct.
How about that?
But I hold a
They
battle,
married
basically.
sisters.
And that's so Cincinnati.
You got it. There's 14 different ways
That's
that we
right.
can say we're all related. If you try hard enough, Ken, I guarantee you I can
Yes.
get back to you and me being related
But
somehow.
I'll tell you why. I ask you that. It's when I go to a game, I'll sit in the press box and there's a comfort there because there's like this glass that separates you. But when you sit in the stands, you hear everything. Everybody thinks you know it. And they want to. And then when you answer the questions they ask you, they'll tell you no, you're wrong,
You're
and they'll
wrong.
give you the answer. And that's like in the first 10 minutes. By the third quarter, everybody's drunk and like you're running for your life. I'm afraid when I go to Paul Brown Stadium. I am. The last time I went was the New England game last year, and I went to therapy immediately the next day.
I will tell you an interesting story. I've been back to Paul Brown Stadium since then, but the time before that, my husband actually got beaten up outside Paul Brown Stadium.
Really?
Yeah. Called the cops. The guy got arrested and everything.
Now wait a minute.
But that's not to say all fans are terrible.
Were you with him?
I was.
Okay, explain the situation. Why was he?
Oh, this is a good one.
No, let's.
Mike's heard this one. Mike's heard this story. He unfortunately knows my husband. All right, so here's the deal. My father-in-law was walking. He has a little a limp because of a neurological disorder. This grown man decided to make fun of my father-in-law. My husband decided to tell this guy, hey, this is not his fault that he limps. The guy hauls off. He's talking to the dude who's making fun of my father-in-law. Another guy comes out of nowhere, cold cocks my husband. He's bloody on the floor, on the ground. I'm pregnant. I am yelling at this guy like it is my job. I'm going to like protect, the family or whatever. So anyway, an undercover cop saw him, arrested the guy. Everything was good.
So what you're telling me?
That's so Cincinnati. Right there.
Yes.
Beating up at a Bengals game. Beat that.
So what you're saying is, here you are expecting a child,
Yes.
and you've rushed to your husband's defense,
Yes.
who was rushing to his father's defense.
Yeah, I mean, think about what an awesome family that is.
That is a pretty tight family.
Yeah,
but that's what frightens me down there, is because
Larry,
there's all these people down there with beer muscles.
Well, and they've been drinking
And you
many
might
of
not
them
have
since 9 a.m.
You might not have noticed this, but I am not the most, muscular guy.
Really?
Really.
You
And
hide it well.
No, I'm very sinewy, but I'm not muscular. But
Sinewy.
the thing is when you go there and you think you're doing nothing wrong and you're just enjoying yourself, you could be in harm's way, and that frightens me. I might need a body man.
My theory is this: when you pay $86 a game for a ticket, people believe it's their right to be able to celebrate that however they want, and sometimes that's with kegs and eggs at 7 a.m. And so by 4 o'clock, when they're rolling out of the game,
All right,
do
guys.
the math.
Yeah.
I think we have our first guest on the phone. Larry, can you hear us?
I can.
Catherine, this is your former partner in crime,
Larry Smith.
Larry Smith from WGCL in Atlanta. You guys work together.
Yes. And
We did.
Larry's covered every sporting event known to man too. So.
Larry, didn't you work at CNN at one time?
I was 16 years.
16 years at
But
CNN.
really, his claim to fame is his time here at WCPO.
And you
That's
work,
right.
Yeah, and you work with Catherine.
I did. It was great. It was awesome.
Amazingly, this is the first time that I've actually worked with Catherine.
I know. Well, we were different stations for so long,
Yeah.
and then completely different schedules.
Right,
For
exactly.
the rest
Right.
of the time.
Right.
Larry enjoyed it so much he literally ran screaming from this place to Atlanta.
And amazingly
the effect I have on men.
And amazingly now, Larry, we're coming to you live from what used to be Dennis Janson's basement. So, welcome to the show. What's the feeling down in Atlanta today after the Falcons laid an egg here yesterday?
Well, down here they are a bit shell-shocked because Week 1 felt just like 2012 when the offense clicked and everything happened. But the concern this morning is the same old defensive problems that plagued the Falcons last year really haven't been addressed. I thought that the Bengals completely dominated the line on both sides.
Yeah.
And now Atlanta has, they play the Bucs at home on Thursday. So, there's no time to fix this before the next game. The Bengals have a really good team. That's a credit to Mike Brown and Coach Lewis and everyone there with the organization.
Yeah, I think the problem for Atlanta on Sunday was they had two guys playing tackle that hadn't played tackle. Jake Long was out. The other starting tackle was out. So, I mean, they were really susceptible to the edge rush. I think Carlos Dunlap, who only had like a tackle or two tackles, I thought he was just completely dominating in that game and just rattled Matt Ryan. You got a tackle problem down there in Atlanta, don't you?
Yeah, they've had a problem. Sam Baker was the starting left tackle, and he went down with an injury in the preseason. He's out for the year. You get the rookie Jake Matthews, who is I thought was the best tackle in the draft. He comes in. He gets injured, an ankle injury last week. He's out. They hope to have him back for Thursday. So you're down to your number 3 guy there at left tackle. And he did a nice job last week against the Saints in the second half and overtime of protecting Matt Ryan's blind side. But the Bengals, again, credit those new coordinators up there have really put together a good game plan and taking advantage of that. Matt was scrambling all day. And I thought the secondary, there was that one play where he had about 6-7 seconds in the pocket and couldn't find anybody open. So and Atlanta's got a pretty nice set of receivers. Just to get a credit to the Bengals and their defense.
So I'm curious, Larry, what the feeling is like there. I mean, I know that the Falcons, it's one of those, it's similar to the Bengals, and there's been some success and some years where you're just like, ugh, you don't even want to talk about it. Especially after this game, what do they think about this year?
Well, I think I think Thursday will determine that because you had the highest of highs that you beat, the Saints, whom everyone hates here. It's the two teams came into the league the same year 50 years ago almost, and so they hate them. So to beat them at home in overtime and the way they did it, everyone was just euphoric. And then here comes the hangover that was yesterday in Cincinnati. So I think right now they're like, well, if they can beat the Bucs Thursday, they'll be like, okay, maybe we have a chance. If they lose, I think it'll be 10 days of criticism with this. But it was clearly yesterday showed that this Falcons team has a lot to work on because again the Bengals are a good team, but I think like you said, I think there's a stigma attached to teams like the Falcons or like the Bengals that they aren't one of those teams that are always the legacy teams always in the hunt for championships. But I think that the average fan doesn't understand this is not your big brother's Bengals or your daddy's Bengals. I mean, this is just a really solid franchise with a lot of good players and good coaching. And so for those of us who actually watched the game, that wasn't that shocking.
Now,
the big question all week was the defense. Could the Falcons stop the Bengals defense? And the answer now is they couldn't.
Doesn't Catherine wear great shoes?
She does.
Unbelievable. She's got these leopard shoes on it. Unbelievable.
Listen, you got to do something. Ken, what are you, like 14 feet tall? 6'9"?
No, I'm 6'5".
7'2".
6'5".
Everything over 5'10" is the same to me. That's why Larry and I got along so well.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's less than 6'5".
How are Atlanta and Cincinnati similar, Larry?
Cincinnati is a bit like a southern city.
Yeah.
I grew up in the Midwest, and it's I think there's both cities very proud of their heritage, but I think that Atlanta is a very transient city. I would guess probably I don't know, 70% of the people didn't grow up here, or their parents didn't grow up here.
Yeah.
Where Cincinnati is very much very generational, but both very proud of the city's heritage.
Yeah, I would. The reason why I ask is you're right about Atlanta. I think I worked in Tampa years ago, and it was the same way. It seems to me though, when you're in Cincinnati, you're brought up rooting for the Reds and the Bengals, and it's just a familia thing. But in Atlanta, you probably have people down there that have all kinds of different allegiances. You might have Giants fans or Bears fans or whatever. So I'm just wondering, is there that same kind of rabid interest in Atlanta in their football team that they have here in Cincinnati, same kind of passion that they have?
They didn't in Atlanta. They haven't had winning teams for a long time. The Falcons weren't good for a long time.
The Hawks,
and the Braves, when I was younger, were terrible forever.
Yeah.
I mean, just forever.
Can we let Larry answer the question, Matt?
No, those are all good points, and I agree with all of them. You're exactly right. I think if you saw a few years ago when the Cubs actually had their couple of good years, I know a lot of Cubs fans that actually said it was cheaper to fly or drive to Atlanta and buy tickets down here and root them on in the playoffs down here against Atlanta, because it was then to buy a ticket at Wrigley Field, because the scalpers, the tickets were so expensive, and that's why those games actually sold out. Braves fans got so spoiled in the 90s that they wouldn't go to games, wouldn't go to early playoff games, and it was embarrassing to see those opening divisional series games against Houston, and you've got 20,000 in the stands as if it's a regular season game in July. The one team that actually has taken root and they have a very solid fan base and a real loyal following is the Falcons. And that really goes back to the Michael Vick years. He really energized the fan base, though obviously animals wouldn't say the same. But he, in not a good way anyway. And then Arthur Blank has come on and has a different approach. And they've done a really nice job. College football is king down here. And for those of you
I was going to say that.
Yeah, it's always number one.
Larry, I grew up in the South, also in Memphis, and I mean, you know, it's a different situation because the Titans, as the Oilers came to Memphis for like 2 seasons, and Memphis was all mad because they wanted the team, and Nashville got it and all this, so it's a different animal entirely. That said, the NFL has no shot in the South to really overtake SEC football, and Atlanta's right there in the midst of it. Not just Athens with Georgia, but I mean you've got Auburn right there, Alabama. I mean it's everything's right there. So as even as big as the NFL is, and it's, you know, America's game, so they say in the South, SEC's king.
And you know, they just opened a new College Football Hall of Fame down here. If you get a chance to come and visit Atlanta, it's amazing.
I saw that on your Facebook page, Larry. I'll have to check it out, or your Twitter page.
I guarantee you, every one of your universities or colleges has a helmet when you first walk in the main atrium. They have over 700 helmets, and you ask them, hey, where's, for me, Eastern Illinois, and it was right there on the left-hand side. They show you where it is. So it's pretty cool.
So, Larry, I don't know whether you're actually waiting to go to sleep or actually have awakened today. I don't know what schedule you're working, but we really appreciate you being on with us this morning on what has become the internet sensation here in Cincinnati.
Yeah, no, I'm up at 6:15 every day. They've got 2 middle school kids, and I'm actually off to play in Terrence Mathis's golf tournament today.
Oh, poor guy. That's a rough day.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like my one break. I just finished 2 SEC shows and a Falcon show, and then I've got a Falcon show and 2 SEC shows this week. So it's my one calm between storms.
We'll give it to you.
Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Larry Smith, WGCL, Channel 46 in Atlanta. Thank you, Larry.
Good to talk to you guys. Take care. Have a blessed day.
Yeah, that was great. You got to talk to an old coworker.
Yeah, he knows his stuff, I'll tell you. I mean, obviously, long and storied career in sports.
See, morning news people, I think, are the most underappreciated news people in the business. Now, I'll tell you why.
Yeah, tell
because you get up at an ungodly hour. You have to look great. You always look great. You roll out of bed looking great.
Smoke and mirrors, my friend, smoke and mirrors.
But you got to be on your game early. And unfortunately, there are not a lot of people in this world that can be that way. Most people go to work at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, and they look like it's 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. You look like it's happy hour.
That's why you get a mainline coffee first thing. Yeah. That's my thing. You know, just hardcore, dark, heavy, syrupy coffee right out of the gate.
And it's tough. I mean, it is because you've got to be on, you know, yada, and everybody's going, the rest of the world is going, So I really think morning news people are the most underappreciated people in the entire business.
Ken Brew, that is an awesome statement, and I agree with it wholeheartedly.
Now, one other thing I want to point out about this game yesterday, because I don't think we can mention this enough. 3 interceptions, which is huge. I mean, when you can take the ball away from the other guy, and they did, you're going to make it so much easier to win.
Did the Bengals have 0 turnovers
None.
again? So,
None.
I mean, that's its second game.
Right.
So, I mean, that's just the differential. That alone is game-changing.
So, to me, you know, everybody could talk about Dalton not being great. They could talk about the defense, you know, giving up 309 yards, I think, yesterday, which is not a lot in today's NFL. But they make plays, like I said, that when they need to make plays, and defensively, it just seems like they're all over the place out there.
Well, Leon Hall.
Leon
yeah,
Hall.
absolutely.
He's played great this year, coming back from Achilles surgery.
Yeah, it's great video, by the way, from Mark Slaughter. You know Mark?
I do know Mark Slaughter. Yeah, absolutely.
The sports department. He's got all these stills up there from the game yesterday. It's a great. That was a tipped interception, that Hall. But that's the deal. That's the deal. When you're making plays, you're going to win football games.
They're also shutting down quarterbacks, like big-time quarterbacks, too. If you keep going back over the course of the last couple of games. I mean, Matt Ryan comes in with this, no one can stop him. Okay, fine. But the same thing happened with Luck last year and Flacco. I mean, they have really, the Bengals defense has really shut down. Yeah, there's going to be a couple big plays.
You guys are too positive this morning.
No.
You're too positive.
I'm
What's wrong?
Susie Sunshine, PJ.
This is a complete 180 from last year.
See, this is the prop. This is the prop.
Because it's me and not Riva.
This is what we work through here, okay? We got these guys, and unfortunately they're all in this room right now. We got these guys in this building.
I know, I can smell them.
Mr. Negatives, you know what I'm
Well,
saying?
okay, but all right, reality check. Julio Jones and Roddy White were injured in the offseason, had no synchronicity with Matt Ryan.
Thank you, Sting.
Just none. And
That's not the Bengals' fault. You can't hold that against the Bengals because they can't work together.
I'm bringing all perspectives here.
Yes.
And
How many yards did they have? How many yards did Atlanta have last week?
Atlanta last week?
Yeah,
Actually,
563.
Well, right.
How many points did they put up last week on the Saints?
Two very different defenses.
37 points.
Two very different defenses.
How many points did they put up on the Bengals?
Not that many.
Why do I feel I'm not even a Bengals fan? I don't root for this team. I don't root for any team. Why am I defending?
PJ doesn't like Kool-Aid.
I don't like Kool-Aid. It's too sugary. I can't do it. It's far too sugary. I don't even have to take sugar in my coffee. It's just I can't do it. Okay, other side of the ball. Again, just all perspectives here. Andy Dalton, he's been nothing special. He hasn't been sacked this year. That's incredible.
Again, you can't hold that against him.
No. I'm not saying that it's his fault, but that's a testament to the offensive line.
Yes.
So let's be pumping them. That's incredible. The running game yesterday,
outstanding.
Offensive line, very outstanding. Nice. So Dalton's been good. He's been fine. And in fact, you know what? All right, I'll drink a little bit of Kool-Aid this morning.
We knew we'd get him.
Of quarterbacks who have started both games this year so far, he has the 4th highest quarterback rating in the league.
I was just looking that up.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
He has the highest yards per attempt in the league. Of course, only 2 touchdowns, but I mean, again, a little bit of Kool-Aid. I'm sipping here.
This is good. Keep bringing it, PJ.
I'm sipping. It's a slow
I was
start.
told that we weren't factual enough last week, so bring these facts.
I'm trying to. Speaking of facts, Ken, you said that you were sinewy earlier in the show.
Sinewy.
I appreciate the use of a good word.
Yes, it's a great word, but it's 7 a.m. I'm not sure most folks caught that. So let me get the exact definition for everybody.
Good. Here we go.
A piece of tough fibrous tissue uniting muscle to bone or bone to bone, a tendon or ligament. Mr. Ken Brew.
I think of it as long and live.
Tissue.
Okay, you know who didn't like Kool-Aid as a young person?
Who?
Dennis Janson. He's live with us on the phone.
Dennis, you're with us this morning. The last time I saw Dennis Janson, he had no shirt on and was digging a hole in downtown Milford.
That sounds about right. He likes to wood chip as well. Every time he comes into the station, I'm like, hey, Danny, how you doing? Oh, just wood chipping.
Thank you for allowing us to use your bedroom furniture here, too. This is wonderful.
Hey, hold up. Stop right now. This man is a Hall of Famer. Let's get his name right. It's
my goodness,
Janson with an A, y'all. Janson with an A. Listen, you misspelled Catherine, that's one thing, because it's spelled wrong to begin with, but you cannot misspell the silver fox.
Good morning, Dennis. How are you?
Hello, Ken, and now with my shirt off, you can see why I'm often confused with Arnold. And actually, I was more of a Bosco guy growing up than I was Kool-Aid. Yes.
Nice.
Ken remembers Bosco. I don't think anybody else there might.
I remember Bosco.
I remember Bosco from the Seinfeld episode, but you can't drink Bosco. You drink Kool-Aid. That, my friend, that's what we're doing today.
Did you watch the game? Did you watch the game yesterday, Dennis?
Yes, indeed, I did.
Were you at the game, DJ? Were you at the game, Dennis?
I was at the game. The game was very exciting. There was a wonderful atmosphere. I wasn't. It was like the old days. It was great fun and great execution. There was great enthusiasm on and off the field, and all in all, we've sat through enough Bengals games against teams like the Atlanta Falcons. Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you what. For me, the legitimacy was established last week at Baltimore, beating Baltimore there. I mean, granted, you had 5 field goals and 1 big play, but that one big play, and we got one big play twice yesterday, and it was I didn't make one tackle here, we again.
Right.
It was highly entertaining, which is almost as important to me as a win.
You know, as luck would have it, we have Greg Reams. You remember Greg Reams when he worked here?
Oh, sure I do.
Yeah. Greg's here specifically just to pick the names off the floor that you're going to drop. So
it's happening. Here we go.
Who were you at the game with yesterday, DJ?
Well, I saw Paul Doherty there. I was just in the press box with, a bunch of mopes like myself. I was there with John Popovich, of course.
Wow.
Dennis Janson is the greatest at the surreptitious name drop. He just gets it in there. You don't even know it's there. It's
stealth name dropper.
He's a stealth name dropper. I love it.
DJ, you worked on Bengals broadcast right back in the 80s.
Yes, I did. I was the color commentator for 2 seasons with the late Phil Samp, and I cherish that association with the team, and they've always treated me with great generosity and thoughtfulness over the years. Most recently yesterday when they misspelled my last name, but that's okay.
That's just us. Fear not. Denny, when you worked Bengals broadcast, was this under your real name, or did you have a stage name?
Or do you mean I was Randy Lotane?
That's my favorite. That was his radio name, Randy Lotane.
Randy Lotane?
Randy Lotane.
You know, the first time I ever saw DJ, he was doing movie reviews. Do you remember that on another station?
I was the entertainment editor at Channel 12. That's right. Film, theater, and dance.
And I'm interning at Channel 9, okay, in the promotion department.
As you should be.
Summer of '73, and there was a guy at 12 doing sports named Roger Sim. You remember Roger Sim?
Oh, absolutely, sure do.
I went to college with his sister, so she Kirsten Sim. So she's dragging me and like 2 other Ohio oldies now. But we go to Channel 12, and here's this guy with this mustache talking about how wonderful the movie They Shoot Horses, Don't They? Or something like that.
That was that was the Ron Jeremy stash.
So anyway, so you're at the game. So they're 2-0, DJ. They were good in 2005. They were good the last few years. You've been around here when they've gone to Super Bowls. How good can this team be, in your opinion?
Well, as good as the likes of T.J. Janson, Jeremy Hill, Brandon Tate, Sean Porter, Marquise Flowers. Those guys were most impressive backing up starters yesterday, don't you think?
Yes.
When they were thrust into the fray?
Yes.
It's depth. I think that's the difference this year.
And I think the other thing that's going on here too, DJ, we've been talking about this since the start of the show. They're making plays. It doesn't, all these stats, yards, third down, it doesn't matter. There are like 5 or 6 plays in a game you got to make, and they've made them the first 2 weeks.
Don't you agree that their tackling was very crisp and efficient and thorough yesterday? There was very few yards after catch.
Yes.
They got the guys on the ground, and that matters so much against a team like the Falcons.
Danny, I'm curious, being there, obviously most of us watched it in our basement, much like we're in right now. But what was it like there? I mean, did the crowd sustain that momentum throughout the game? Because there were parts that were a little, some people might have fallen asleep in the middle of it, maybe, if they were in their own basement. Not me, of course.
Well, again, Catherine, I am sequestered behind glass in the hermetically sealed press box where there is no cheering. They'll pitch you out if you vocalize any of your support for the home team. But from what I could tell, you can feel the crowd's enthusiasm through the glass and hear the roar. And there were natural lulls, but a punt will do that. Just how many times do people come to their feet with a successfully executed punt?
Right. Well, Dennis, I can't tell you how comforting it is to hear your Courvoisier-induced voice on this morning. And we appreciate
my mellifluous tone is coming through at this advanced hour of the day.
Yes.
Oh, totally.
Yes. So it's great that we could have you on the Flying Pigskin, which is the latest, not just internet show, but literally just on the metrics we've seen, the hottest internet show on the planet right now. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Well, God bless you, and God willing, I will be able to join you periodically throughout the course of the season here.
Oh, we'll guarantee it.
Thank you,
Danny, thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day. See you. Bye-bye.
From what I've heard, Ken, it is, in fact, the best internet Bengals show that Channel 9 puts on.
Without question.
The best. I mean, there can be no others.
And the beauty of this show is it starts off slow and fades from there.
Oh,
no, the beauty of the show is it starts and then it just gets up and it goes. Gets up and it goes.
Sure.
Matt, how are we doing this morning? I just wanted, because we need to just get a little pep talk here at a certain point, and you're the guy that's like at the brains of the operation. How's it going?
Well, you're overstating many things this morning.
I'm in local
That's
television.
one of them.
Yeah.
But we're doing pretty good. We got another one of Catherine's partners, if you will.
Oh, really?
Open up, open up the Skype. Let's talk to Chris. Here we go. Take it.
All right, hold on.
Chris Riva, her co-anchor of Good Morning, and former.
Things since Larry was on before me. Real cool, Nero.
I didn't choose this. This is Matt Lucan's fault. You beat
That's
him without
right,
the head and
Chris.
shoulders.
You're talking to the wrong person if you want to make an influential change in this.
Out of the show, my over and under was 10 times on this show that Luke would go, sure, we're 2-0, but Andy Dalton still hasn't won a playoff game yet.
The day is young. We've got 7 more hours of this to go, Chris. You
Chris,
never know.
can you describe the excitement that entered your life last week when you appeared here on the show?
I think you said it best when you said that I'm still employed after being on this show. And Wes Finley, our morning executive producer, just likened your set, your basement, to All in the Family.
Hey, it's a good call. That's a good call.
There you
I
go.
still
Now
think it's
Marcy's-
sad that the 4 or 5 pictures you have behind you are circa 1980.
Yeah.
I'll tell you where this franchise has been.
So if I'm Archie Bunker, you're Edith.
That's about, those were the days, my friend. No. I will, though, say that I'm not getting out of this chair, ever.
So we have Chris Riva, who worked in sports at one time. You worked in sports at one time,
Let me
and I'm
tell
still
you-
in sports. What do I don't know that you guys figured out?
Chris Riva, I think you'll agree with this. There's something about a morning show that draws sports people. I don't know what. And all I'm saying is our producers are like, will you two shut up? Because if a sports person can do anything, it's talk a lot.
That's right, and ad-lib quite a bit. Or at least we think we can.
Well, we do it, whether it's good or not. That's not our choice.
Chris, I watched this game yesterday. The Bengals ran up 472 yards of offense. Now, the Falcons are never going to be confused with being a great defensive team. But I think anytime you run up 472 yards of offense in the NFL, that tells me you got a pretty darn good team. Tell me why I should be walked back from the ledge on this.
Well, I don't think so. I think it should be really good. I still think that Hugh Jackson was genius in that game. When you lose your big vertical threat in A.J. Green, from the standpoint, you could see that he tweaked the game plan and went running game with them. And really, to see the 2 running backs do the job that they did, I think is commendable. Here's the thing that I was talking to Catherine about during the commercial breaks this morning. I was at the 49ers Falcons NFC Championship game a couple of years ago. That team has not been the same since the first half of that game. The Niners made a pretty big, notorious comeback in that game. And there was a noticeable difference between the first half to the second half, and Matt Ryan didn't go vertical with the 2 wide receivers that he had. Why doesn't he go vertical more with Julio Jones and Roddy White? I don't understand it. It didn't seem like he took enough deep shots to me.
Here's how they had 6 drives, okay? The Falcons had 6 drives in the second half, and 3 of them end with interceptions. 2 of them end with punts. I mean, what more do you want out of that defense?
Agreed.
I agree, but one of those interceptions was a tip ball, so it wasn't Ryan's fault. The other one was a pretty bad pass.
Yeah.
I don't know. When you have Julio Jones, why you don't try to utilize him more, I don't understand.
Yeah, well, I think, and as we all saw, I think the Bengals' defensive front 4 had a lot to do with that, too.
Oh, you give him credit.
Dunlap had, I think, 1 tackle, but it seemed like he was in the picture every time that the defense was on the field.
Yeah, and they got pressure on him enough to disrupt him the whole game. So, yeah, it was a pretty solid effort. So, am I supposed to be monitoring the internet this morning? Is that what I'm supposed to be
You're
monitoring?
supposed to be
Your
monitoring
guess is
the
as good as
internets.
mine.
Yes.
Nero set up the tweet deck, and I'm tossed up between the news alerts into my Bengals side. So, but I will tell you this: 5 of the top 10 things trending in Cincinnati right now are Bengals related.
Unfortunately, one of them is Nugent, though, right? He's still trending this morning.
He should be trending. Right.
Yeah.
Now. I'm with Maddie. Too many misses yesterday.
Yeah, he should.
I mean, one of them looked like it sliced and hooked. Matt, what is that in golf? Like he threw up a knuckleball that started to cut and it drew back and missed.
Yeah. By the way, what is your Twitter handle, Chris, in case people want to follow you?
Do I have to give it out?
Yes.
I don't have a problem with Nugent. I have a problem with trying 10 field goals in 2 games.
I agree with that, Matt. I
10
agree
field
with you
goals.
completely.
We have 2 touchdown drives. They have 4 touchdowns all year. 2 of them were long strikes. We have 2 touchdown drives in 2 games. I love a 2-0 start. I've been going to games since I was a kid, and I'm always going to be a Bengal fan. But this offense is underperforming, and the defense is playing great.
You're the kind of guy that would get a check, $100 bonus, and you complain that they took tax out.
That's right.
That's
When you
you.
work overtime, they just take too much out, and you make less money. That's how it works.
I just think that most of those obviously were on the road, and anytime you get points on any drive on the road in the NFL is good work. I just think that.
I agree.
I agree with what you're saying, Matt. Finished drives, but in the same token, they're still getting points and they're still moving the football. And I can only imagine what this conversation would be from you if they weren't even getting points.
Yeah, if they were going for it on fourth down and missing altogether.
So what is your
We
Twitter handle?
complain about that too.
At Nero.
No.
Or at WGCL.com.
At Riva WCPO.
He's asking you, Chris. Okay.
I know.
No, he's trying to deflect. Yeah, tell Riva how wrong he is. It's at Riva WCPO.
We got it. We got it up on the screen, and I think we spelled Riva right.
You did. Good work.
You guys get along so well on the morning. I love you watching you guys on the morning show. Really do. You guys really, I mean,
Thank
really,
you.
Really and truly, I feel awake when I watch you.
Well,
Hey,
as
Catherine,
you should.
Did you tell Ken my big news from the weekend?
I didn't. Why don't you tell him?
Oh, yeah. I wish I had it here. It's at my other desk. No, it's okay. Somebody's like, do you want me to go get I received the key to the city from Middletown.
Really?
Big time.
Huh?
Do you understand?
Righteous. That's
And the best part is they spelled his name right on the proclamation at least twice.
Wow.
Percent of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The time it's right every time.
Right. What you don't know is they're changing the locks today.
That's okay.
Why did you get the key to the city? Seriously? Because you're from there?
I hope it's not because you work for Channel 9. If that's is that the bar that's
Yes, that's the bar. That's the bar.
Why didn't I get a key?
Stratman
from
wants a key.
Middletown,
You're not from Middletown, though.
You're lucky you got a card key, Stratman.
It may not work right
Which,
now.
Actually, yeah, the building security is waiting for you outside the door after the show.
Congratulations. That's wonderful, Chris. It really is. That's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, it's cool. All right. Anyway, I think it's cool that they're 2-0 as well.
Yeah.
What do you got? So my concern now is looking at the schedule down the road. I mean, you got Tennessee, you got to take advantage there, and then you go to New England after the bye. Then you have the Panthers here, and then another tough matchup right after that. So basically 3 straight playoff teams.
But New England's not New England this year, so you got to look at it that way. And you've got Tennessee that, well, just leave it at that.
Catherine's a Tennessee girl, but I think,
Yeah,
That's
you're
right.
you and I
not
could
great.
find
Catherine.
9 other guys and beat Tennessee.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure I could start at running back.
No, you couldn't do it.
No.
No. Well, those
Although
shoes,
I think
in those shoes you couldn't
Gio
start running
Bernard
back.
sized.
Yeah.
He's got that low center of gravity. It's why I love him.
Thank you,
Just
Chris.
tweeted that the Bengals game had a 65 share yesterday.
They had a
Really?
what?
A 65 share.
Woo.
In TV terms, that's a whole lot of people watching TV.
There were a lot of empty seats down there.
That's because they're all watching it at home.
Mr. Negative.
You see what happens here? For
Maddie, on
every
that
2
team,
happy
people
quotients,
vote
it's like,
empty seats.
Was there like a thundercloud over your head, Lucan? I mean, well, come on.
If they're as good as everybody's saying they are, how come they can't sell out the game?
Because the tickets are $86.
That's not their fault. They showed up and they won the game.
Look,
the
do not
fans,
even.
This
Matt,
comment is about
Matt,
the
you
poor
cannot
fans.
even try to tell me that an $86 ticket. That is ungodly. To take a family forward, which again we discussed, you
It's
wouldn't
a cheap
take a family.
ticket in the NFL.
It doesn't matter if it's a cheap ticket in the NFL. The bottom line is you got to take out a mortgage payment to take 4 people to a game.
Okay, but other
It's
games are selling out. Okay.
That's fine. That's all well and good. We got a lot of stuff going on here in Cincinnati.
Right.
We can watch it from the comfort of our lovely basement.
Right here.
That's right.
Right here.
Lovely recliners.
Yeah. So Chris is in the newsroom covering social media. That's good. I like that. Have you? And by the way, is it time to bring in Mr. Satin? Can we do that?
Well, hold on for a second.
Oh, well, I don't want me to get ahead
That's
of
a
it.
tease.
See, who's in charge here? Okay.
Well, obviously I'm not.
Yeah,
I
I'm in
don't
charge.
know.
Yes, Matt. What would you like?
Let me jump in, Matt. All right, what are you guys doing? Next?
What are we
Let's
doing?
talk to PJ.
Attendance. Okay,
Take
let's
Take 2.
Go for it. Go
let's
for it,
take 2
DJ.
on attendance.
Is he like the Tony Reale of the show?
I'm similar to Tony Reale.
Okay.
Yes, I have the beard and everything. Tony doesn't have these glasses.
No, he doesn't.
He's a better than
I am
Tony
better.
Reale.
I'm more
Okay.
Irish than Tony. Comparable markets, attendance.
Okay.
The Cleveland Browns average 9,000 more fans per game.
Nothing to do in Cleveland. Move on. Next.
Okay. The Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's enough said.
Ditto.
Okay.
How many more,
The
though?
Tennessee
Seriously.
Titans. Oh, the Pittsburgh Steelers have 6,000 more fans per game. The
Okay.
Tennessee Titans.
I love Tennessee.
Have
I love Nashville.
11,000
Nashville's
more
awesome.
fans per game, and the Titans haven't been good since Warren
No,
Moon
but
was in the
it is
league.
the only game in town. I mean, obviously they got hockey, but that is the only thing in town. It's
Well,
the
there's
only
Broadway.
game.
There's
You-
Broadway. I mean, you go to
In
the bars
Nashville?
in Nashville. You go to
You
bars
could argue
on
that there's no
Broadway.
other
Not
team
on
in
a
town
Sunday
here except the
afternoon.
Cyclones.
We do have, well, I've heard we have a lot to do here in town.
We do.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah,
please
I
tell
get
us.
it. I get
it.
Please tell us how we don't have a lot to do here in town.
I get it. It's a vibrant city, and that's a testament
Yes.
to where we live.
Yes.
But It's the same thing with the Reds. You people, and I get it. TV's great. But there's nothing like going to a game.
TV is
and
great.
there's only 8 of them.
Last time you checked, that's the actually working.
It's a family event.
It is not a family event, PJ.
Yeah, it can be.
Are you kidding? Let me tell you something. The last game I went to, when my husband got his butt kicked.
Let's bring Mr. Satin in. Here he is.
Okay, there's Mr. Satin. I'll finish my thought, Mr. Satin. But basically, it was a Steelers game, and the guy in front of me, every time the Steelers made a first down, he would stand up and yell a lot of 4-letter words that involved an action that Bengals fans should do to him. And that is not something you can take a kid to. I'm not spending $86 to take a kid to a game where a guy's going to tell him to do a sex act. No. Oh, family section, because you can't yell over the family section.
You need like a sex act section.
The sex act / 4-letter word section.
Can't drink alcohol in the family section.
By the way, I had a...
Catherine, we agree with you, but the reality is, it is what it is, and they sell out at other stadiums, so we can't just complain that, do we not want a football team? I mean, we want to sell out the stadium, we want to have it packed.
All right,
and,
but people are watching it. Like, what do you want? You want people in the stands sitting there? Great. Figure out why they're not there. And I say it's ticket prices.
Okay, but they're cheaper here than they are in other NFL cities.
You know what? If you take away the big cities, I'd like to see what it is.
And I'll tell you something else that's playing into it as well. There's a lost generation. There's a generation that grew up rooting for anything but Bengals because the team was so bad. I'm telling you that there's a swath of people right now in an age group probably somewhere between 19 to 35
That's
when they were
squarely
bad.
Mr. Satin's wheelhouse here.
That's true. It was rough.
Yeah.
But growing up, seeing how they were since when I was a little kid, it was Super Bowl, but they just dropped off so fast and for so long. It was rough. You had guys back there like burnt toast.
Yeah.
And it was hard to root for.
Rod? Are we talking about Rod?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Dressed like that, you're single, right?
No, I'm not. There is a Mrs. Satin.
There is a Mrs. Satin.
Does she also have the satin jacket, or did she go like satin skirt, satin like Bengals outfit?
All the above. I don't really know that industry, the ladies satin industry.
We'll work on that.
But I'm going to assume all the above, what I see. But yeah, she helps out on some ideation and things like that.
Some what?
Ideation.
File that under sinewy.
Yeah. We got to get out there and meet the people and things like that. And she'll, behind every great Mr. Satin is a Mrs. Satin.
Well,
right?
Mr. Satin.
That's truer words were never spoken.
He's our man on the street.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Correct.
Bon vivant, who carries camera with him and goes out and talks to the Vox Populi.
Yeah.
He has his finger on the pulse of Cincinnati. Catherine, if you go like down to the banks, or you go to like around Paul Brown Stadium, or like the in-between bar, you're going to find Mr. Satin because he really knows what's going on in here and that's why we have him in here on Monday mornings, every Monday morning.
I'm stoked to be here.
I know you are. We're stoked to have you.
I'm really stoked for the furniture fair. This feels very.
Well, there's the mention. We're done.
Very nice. Very nice. They did a very nice job on these threads right here. Nice piping. I'm enjoying it.
I understand this one actually moves or something. There's like a motor.
I think he's an upholsterer
too. Work on that.
Part-time.
Mr. Satin, you apparently have been out soliciting inappropriate who days.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about
that. So Mr. Satin's video effort we're about to see right now. Am I right, Matt? I don't want to get ahead of the curve here. Good. Okay. Good. Excellent. Let's go, Mr. Satin on the street. Inappropriate who days right now on the Flying Pigskin Show.
Hey, what's happening? This is Mr. Satin down here from the Flying Pigskin. Waking up on a beautiful day. It's time to get some who day. Come on, let's get some coffee.
Mr. Satin.
Mr. Satin?
That's right. Who day? Who day all day?
Are you Mr. Satin?
I am. Who day?
Who day?
Who day?
Let's see what's going on in the library. Check out some X and O's. Get ready for this game. Who day? building up quite the appetite? Let's go in and sit and get some hoo-day. We're down here at the CAC, and let's go see some modern art.
What's your name?
Mr. Satin.
I'm asking people to write something they don't want to forget.
Can I see into the future that I want it to happen? A Super Bowl win. Hoo day.
What does that mean?
Hoo day.
There we go.
Have a great one. Snuck into Channel 9 News today, and we're here live on set for a little inappropriate hoo day.
This weekend is the inaugural Cincinnati Food and Classic Wine Festival with more than 90 local national celebrity chefs, winemakers, and brewers.
Hoo day!
Nobody, baby. Woo! That's right.
Oh,
good times.
Yeah, I could tell. Yeah. Now, I thought the folks at the Contemporary Arts Center.
Yeah, they enjoyed you the most.
Yeah, they were having a good time.
That was the eeriest one, actually. That was, I was in there. I wanted.
Was that Rapunzel who was talking to you?
Rapunzel.
What was
so the whole thing was it was a performance art piece,
right?
Yeah.
And there was like these categories, and one was celebration. Of course, that's the one you got to go for.
Got to go for it.
So you write it down, and they and everyone there like sews it into her hair. So there was all these messages coming out from her hair on the ground, and they were sewing it. This interactive sewing piece, which was pretty interesting. But I'm in there to let them know about Hoo Day.
What happens when she has to wash her hair?
I'm not in that scene. That's
It goes with the women's satin scene.
Yeah.
Things you are not into. Also, well, what you do is performance art, so you would imagine that they would enjoy it.
I like that. You're right. I think they were. They were into it. They know Cincinnati needs the Bengals.
Right.
The Bengals need Cincinnati.
Right.
So.
I thought the Senate crowd was a bit stuffy, and I was disappointed because
That's right. I expected a hoo day in response.
I really did. I thought I was going to walk in there, throw some high fives down, do a little hoo day, get some more high fives. What I got was,
It's a hot dog crowd. They serve hot dogs there. Why wouldn't they yell back?
Hipster hot dogs. They're delicious.
They like the red.
Oh, I love it.
They're delicious, but hipster
put like
hot
4 or
dogs.
5 in my mouth at once if I can't. Could that's good stuff.
Well, the thing I think that's beautiful about you, and amazingly I found one thing that it's the thing I think is that you elicit people at their most vulnerable moment. In other words, you get them when they're least expecting you, and then you bring out, for like at the Contemporary Arts Center, you bring out something from them that they probably wouldn't have done under normal circumstances.
Hey, why not? We're here to have fun. We're here to celebrate some sports, and that's one thing. Why can't art, culture, music, and sports combine? And that's where I feel like
you're a Renaissance man.
Maybe we'll come in there and give a little of that love out there.
Yeah, the Renaissance man.
There it is.
Now, Mr. Satt, you watched the game yesterday.
Oh yeah.
You know they're 2-0. I want you to tell us all, statistically or otherwise, what was the most impressive thing that you saw about your Bengals yesterday?
The most impressive. Can I have two?
I said you can't have
vote.
two.
Oh, okay.
You can't have two of these. So let's pick one.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I have two?
Give the man two.
Can I have
two? They're
seconds?
small. Go ahead.
Well, first off, the running game. I was expecting to see a big sort of aerial assault on both ends. And the running game looked solid. I love it. They were down there. They weren't trying to throw. Right in the red zone. They were running a little bit. I love to see that. And the other thing was the old guys in the secondary. They stepped up. They looked great.
Yeah, they're ancient.
Terrence Newman, what? Like he looked like he can play football. I mean, who knew?
Imagine that.
Who knew?
A professional football player.
Yeah, he's getting a paycheck.
Yes.
So you
to
assume,
play it.
right?
Yes.
And he did. And thank you, Terrence Newman.
Right.
Well, the other thing I think you got to admit, and again, I don't know if you're just joining us, we're your men, but I think the thing you got to admit is that this is a team that's infectious because they seem to me at the right time make the right play and know exactly how to get the crowd in the game. And I know all of that stuff they're intangibles, they don't really lead to winning, But I'm telling you, it just seems like just when you need a play, those lows you were talking about, bang, there's a play. And that's what happened on Sunday.
Yeah, it was great to see that.
Gio Bernard was huge.
Yeah.
He came up big. There were several first downs. He extended drives. The little shovel pass that Dalton threw him, he did that all by himself. There were 4 Falcons right in front of him. He just ran around all of them.
Incredible.
Good. So management got to you.
That drive's over if he doesn't make that play. What?
Management got to you, and now you're positive.
Gio is my boy.
I will say this about the 12th man, if you want to call it that. Both Pecco and Devin Still both said that it was so loud. Pecco specifically said the 12th man, that's what he called him. He's like, it's hard to win a game in the jungle. I need you to think about the last time anyone ever said that. So even though, maybe they're not selling as many tickets, but for 2 players to come out and say that this was part of the reason we won, that's impressive.
A name we haven't thrown out here yet on the Bengals defense that I need to make sure gets recognized.
Yes.
Mr. Emmanuel Lamour.
Oh.
First of all, that's a solid name.
Mr. Emmanuel Lamour, 25-year-old out of Delray Beach, Florida, has had 39 career tackles, and 20 of them have been this year.
Wow.
With the Cincinnati Bengals. He is very quickly becoming the next Vontaze Burfict, who, of course, we're waiting on word on his head today. He has been fantastic. He's in on every play.
Yeah.
He is holding this defense together. Both weeks now, he's had 9 and 11 tackles, an interception last week. Get to know that guy's name.
Emmanuel Lamour.
Here we go.
Oh, and I do have some more Kool-Aid for you guys.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, so
that should be a segment. More Kool-Aid.
More Kool-Aid.
More Kool-Aid.
We should do
You're
that.
welcome.
More Kool-Aid. The Bengals are the 23rd most expensive average ticket price.
So they're bottom
in the NFL.
That means they're a pretty good bargain.
They're toward the end.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
And let's take a look at some other prices, again, comparable markets.
Yes.
I'm going to retract the Cleveland Browns statement I said earlier, because no one should ever say anything good about the Cleveland Browns. They have the cheapest ticket.
They have the cheapest people up there, too.
Of course they do.
So that makes sense. Your Tennessee Titans are the 30th cheapest ticket.
Catherine's Tennessee Titans.
No, I do not claim those Titans.
She's from Memphis.
I do not claim them.
Nor should you these days.
She's from Memphis.
That's right.
As well, the San Diego Chargers. They are the 27th most expensive. And I'll go all the way to the top of the list here just for some perspective. Take a guess. Who do you guys think
New England.
Okay.
Niners, new stadium.
Niners.
Okay,
Ken, what do you think?
You got to go New York.
The Seattle Seahawks. The real 12th man.
That's real 12th man.
The most expensive ticket.
Really?
In the NFL.
What's the average?
You ready for this?
Yes.
$452.
What?
And 34
But that includes the rich Dennis Janson seats, though, right?
That's the average price at a Seahawks game?
Is that one ticket?
That is an average price of all the tickets. That does not include, or that does include suites. Yes, single ticket.
Wow.
That's the highest average price.
Well, they've got that Microsoft money up there is what's going on.
I mean, the Starbucks money, Adam.
Poor PJ, I'm like giving him assignments now. Here's what I want to know.
Yes.
What is the cheapest ticket at every stadium? Because let's be fair, that's what people buy. Do you know what I mean? Like I think the Bengals is like a 45, something like that. Poor PJ's like, hold on. But you know what I mean? I think, because let's be fair, none of us are Dennis Jansons and can afford the luxury suite, right?
I'm going to look that up. WCPO.com, in fact, did an interactive on ticket prices. And
see what I'm doing right there?
He is so good.
Ken, before we go, but Catherine has to go. She has morning duty. She keeps checking her phone for many reasons. But
so, yeah,
Catherine, we want to hear about. Take it, Mike. We want to hear about your days at Graceland.
Oh, there he is.
Yes, Catherine.
Oh, look, the gates of Graceland. There's Elvis Presley right there.
He's not dead, by the way.
You know, he bought the home in 1957 from a Dr. and Mrs. Thomas More. It was originally on 13.8 acres of farmland.
Do you know he's not dead?
He's dead.
No, he's not.
I'll tell you how I know.
His grave is misspelled his middle name.
Let me tell you why. He actually changed the spelling of his name when he got into Christianity in his late 30s. And so he changed his name from A-R-O-N, which is his middle name, to A-A-R-O-N.
I know he's not dead.
He's dead.
I can tell you how I know he's not dead.
How's that?
I was with him last night. After I left here about 12 midnight, I drove. I met him in Withamsville.
Mm-hmm.
He hangs out at a little buskin drive-in shop that's there in Withamsville. I sat down. I talked to him. I knew you were going to be on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, whatever you do, don't let Catherine say that I'm dead, because I'm not. And then you know what he said?
What's that?
Thank you very much.
That's about right. Look at this guy. But
Okay, all right. Now,
Yes.
moving right
That
along.
was it?
Sorry.
That's all my Elvis stuff?
Well, I thought you had to go. You told me you had to go.
8:15 now, because I did work
Oh,
when I should have been anchoring.
somebody pulled some strings. I bet PJ did that or something.
No, I'll tell you what happened. I was
didn't know we
actually
had-
doing
What
work
time is it?
during commercial breaks.
Are we-
7:58.
7:58. We've been nonstop, man. We've just been churning and churning and churning.
You got
so
it.
you're here for now? You're here?
Yeah.
Where are we going next,
Stuck
Matt?
with me.
John Popovich, sports director right here at Channel 9,
Yes.
opened that up, wrote an article this week, and he's sort of drinking the Kool-Aid. He thinks that, the Bengals, which used to be, the team that everybody made fun of, and there were many jokes that were, he's here. He wrote an article. John, how are you doing this morning?
Doing okay. I didn't know we were talking about Elvis, but that's okay.
Well, Catherine's here. We're trying to, be thematic, if you will. She was a tour guide. Is that what you were, Catherine? I
That's
don't know
correct,
what
Matt.
Yes,
I was
yes.
a tour guide at Graceland.
John
Yes, and I've
Elvis
been
is,
to Graceland, and the tour is wonderful.
John Elvis is still alive.
Catherine got me a tour of Graceland.
Right. John Elvis is still alive, right?
Oh, certainly.
There you go. See,
That's,
that's two.
In our hearts, Ken, in our hearts.
No. Catherine, I think you're going to discover at some point when you go back to Memphis, he'll be there and waiting for you.
All right. Am I the pretty little thing waiting for the king down in the jungle room? See, I'm now in your wheelhouse.
Well, welcome,
Got
Mike.
music.
Now,
There you go.
listen, John, you wrote this article about the Bengals, no longer being the butt end of a lot of jokes, and I think it's true. I mean, the on-field performance and, what they've done with Devin Still, all of a sudden, this is a trendy little franchise now, isn't it?
Well, I think it happened a lot before Devin Steele as far as the way the franchise is run. Ken, you've been here long enough to know that this was a dysfunctional franchise for a lot of years. And frankly, I think it started when Marvin Lewis came that things started to turn the corner. I mean, there's probably a lot of things the media didn't like because that was an open place. You knew a lot more than you probably should have known about the Bengals. And Marvin shut it up more like every other franchise was run, and other people probably came into the scouting and developing and helping out. But I thought it started to turn when less guys got arrested, too. Let's admit it, the Bengals, the only time when you turned on ESPN they were talking about the Bengals was when they were showing mug shots.
Yeah.
And there was nothing good to talk about. So when you have 3 years in a row of going to the playoffs, things have changed in Cincinnati. This is probably the golden era. All they got to do is get to a Super Bowl now, and you're going to talk about this team forever.
Yeah, I thought that news conference in January 2011, Marvin was looking for work, wanted to go anywhere. Mike didn't want him to go, but really didn't make him a good deal. All of a sudden, they come to some agreement. They're sitting up there at that news conference. They look like two parents staying together for the sake of the kids. And I think at that point, Mike ceded some control. I think part of the deal was, all right, look, I'm not going to be, to have this tyrannical hold over this franchise. And I think Marvin, he got his own offensive coordinator after that. The nonsense, which had stopped earlier, really stopped. Palmer got traded. Ocho Cinco was out of here. And John, I think if there's one date that I would look to, it would be that date in January of 2011. What about you?
Well, that's it, and it's never been specified everything that happened there and what control was relinquished, what Marvin got hold of. But I think it's clear that that exactly what you said, all those distractions, all that crap that was taking place around here and didn't have to do with football was eliminated. And certain things then were just, and I think more than anything else, it was personnel. He was able to bring in the guys that he says, I want to have in here. Not just, you just think about the last few years, guys like Chris Crocker, and that came in here, and all of a sudden, we had a clubhouse that could control itself. Marvin didn't have to do it all. Take a look at all the different parts of this team now. There is experience, and there are guys that are upstanding individuals that all of a sudden they're going to take control of this locker room, and it's like it was in the 80s.
Papa, it's not just the personnel on the field too. I mean, do you find that it's once he was able to put in place all of the coaches and coordinators that he wanted, and those guys could pick and choose the personnel they needed from the draft or elsewhere, that's when, as you said, the tide probably started to turn there. But slowly but surely, that's when, and I think we're now to the point where we're seeing all that come to fruition.
That would be my guess too, Catherine. I don't know who has control over all those hires, but I do think that Marvin has a bigger say in all of that stuff that takes place, and I think that's a big change because I think a lot of these other coaches, whether you go back to Bruce Cosler or Dick LeBeau, players and coaches were foisted on them. They had no control over, and maybe these weren't even guys good for that position.
You know, we had Dennis Janson on earlier, John, and I mentioned that I saw Dennis without a shirt on working in the front lawn of this home in Milford last week. I've seen John without a shirt on. John, you're much better without a shirt on than DJ.
What are you guys doing that you're constantly seeing each other without shirts on?
I just want to point that out right now.
You don't want to talk about this at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Thank you, John.
I don't know when it's appropriate to talk about that, quite frankly.
John Popovich, our sports director. Thank you for getting up this morning with us, John.
Very good. Thanks for inviting me.
Good. I think these are things that need to be pointed out.
Well,
this is stuff that you can't get over the air. That's what this is all about.
I'm just saying, I'm never in a work situation where I'm like, oh, there's a bunch of dudes without their shirts on, unless you're in the locker room, and then it's shirts and other things. But
I'm just saying, you know, we try to be more third dimensional on this show.
Gotcha.
How are we doing so far, Matt?
We're doing pretty good. We have one of our guests from last week has returned. Open up the Skype. Johnny Bag O Donuts.
Good
Catherine,
morning,
I
John.
don't know if you were ready for this, Catherine.
Oh, no, I love this.
How's everything in your parents' basement, John?
Oh, it's great. How's everybody doing there? At what time is it? Like 6 in the morning right now?
Yeah,
That's
something like that. Yeah. John, did you watch the game last? Because I know we had you on last week on Monday, and you hadn't watched the game, but you said you were going to try and watch this next game. Did you watch the game yesterday?
Right. I watched it, the entire thing, from the pre-game stuff to all the post-game stuff. It was great. I loved it. Hooday!
What, John? Yeah. Me too. What did you find to be the most entertaining part of the game yesterday?
Hey, could you get Matt, the director, to take off his headset for just a second?
Sure. Yeah. Hey, Matt, remove the headset. Okay, go for it. He can't hear you at all.
Okay. He made me promise to watch the whole thing or I couldn't be on the show. Mm-hmm. And I got distracted and I didn't get to watch like any of it. Could you throw me like some softball questions?
Sure.
Okay.
What's the name of that Bengals quarterback?
The new one or the old one?
No,
any of them. Any of them was fine. Yeah.
I like Boomer a lot. My favorite.
Hey, BOD, what color uniforms did they wear yesterday?
Well, yesterday, they definitely had orange and black, and yeah, I mean, it was a great game.
Well, it's clear you watched it.
The best one I've seen.
Yeah, he told me he watched it. I don't know why. I'm not sure what was going on, but yeah, he knows more than whether they wore orange and black.
I didn't know. I was just throwing him a little softball.
Let's talk about Giovanni Bernard for a minute. What of his the 3 impact plays that he had, Johnny? Which play do you think was the most impactful from Giovanni Bernard?
The second quarter was definitely the best part from him.
He didn't play in the second quarter.
I mean, whichever one it was, the last one. Then it's a little early, guys, for this kind of thing, don't you think?
And your name, Johnny B.O.D., is that Johnny Bod? Is that because there's some question as to it? Is it Johnny Bod, Johnny B.O.D., or Johnny Bag O Donuts? What is it?
I prefer Bod.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the Bod.
He's got a little He's got a little Jim Caviezel look going on.
He kind of does.
You do, yeah. You got a little Jim Caviezel going.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That smile he just gave was a little bit frightening.
Yeah, like Jack Nicholson frightening.
Yeah, sounded like The Shining. Yes.
Yeah. But so mom and dad are okay. Did it make a lot of noise going to work this morning, or?
No, they left. Mom set out some cereal for me. I'm gonna go eat that.
Fruity Pebbles.
That's great.
Hey, I was curious. Do you think you could hook me up with some furniture fair, like bedding or anything?
Looks like you're good.
Yeah.
You got a pillowcase and everything.
Right,
I don't know what more you need.
It's a fabulous pattern on his pillowcase as well.
Yeah, we can get you anything you need, man. Oh, look at that. There's even cinema verite there.
BOD, I'm surprised you don't have your NFL sheets on that bed. Like you normally do.
I'm surprised he's got sheets on the bed, to be honest with you.
Representing the home team.
Okay, I don't know where he was tilting the camera down to. I think it's time to wrap up the BOD segment. We've taken it as far as I think that can go.
Johnny, it's always good to have you on. Thank you so much for not going to bed last night. We appreciate it. Yeah. Okay.
Is that also an inappropriate hooday? I think we got to add that one to Mr. Sattin's. repertoire.
We're going live from our basement, his basement.
To his basement.
It's
to your basement.
Yeah, everybody's basement. It's just absolutely downright amazing. So anyway, we've really, we try to build this show to the pinnacle. I mean, we had Johnny on.
Right.
We started off good. We had good content, I thought. And then we had Johnny on, and Johnny was good. And it's kind of like when you go to like a concert. There's a couple of acts, and then there's the main attraction. And we've arrived now, Matt, with the main attraction. Am I not right? This is the main attraction?
Yes. It's what all of Flying Pigskin fans are waiting for.
All of them, all three of you.
It's time for the real McCoy, the man who actually is in charge of WCPO, a man who is revered among corporate headquarters at Scripps. Has now joined us again, and look at him.
Looking
burn,
fine.
Baby, burn, Disco Inferno. Hello, Real McCoy.
You two look like an accident just waiting to happen.
Yeah,
you know that?
An accident waiting to happen.
I'm a little concerned that you came with notes this time. You got cards for us?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
Go for it. What you got?
You want to hear the first card?
I absolutely do.
Here we go.
The first card. Okay. It's that simple. It's like the pot calling the skillet the sponge.
That's not how my grandma said it.
Ding, 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 ding,
That's
ding,
exactly
ding.
what it said. But no, this is a little something I
you look good.
jot down to myself to help me memorize some things.
Right.
Now, Stratman knows this.
Yeah.
I'll give credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
Okay. The Bengals looked good yesterday.
Mike
now,
Stratman.
is this the real Bengals, or do we expect them to be more so? See, you can only go to the well like 99 times, and on the 100th time, you're going to get caught.
Right.
Okay, so in other words...
See, you didn't know that, did you?
Well,
They didn't teach you that growing up.
And you're not converting touchdowns. Now you're starting to miss field goals. So what's getting ready to happen here? Will the real Bengals just please stand up?
You were surprised at what happened.
I very was, and especially Sanu being able to throw that type of pass yesterday. I screamed. I dropped my beer. I was like, what the?
I gotta be honest with you. Everybody's surprised that Sanu can throw this pass. He's completed 3 passes, 3 touchdowns, and he has a perfect passer rating, if I'm not mistaken.
Those are Munoz-like passing
honestly,
statistics.
and he had a touchdown pass before he had a catch in the NFL, if I'm not mistaken.
Now, this is important. Complete this sentence, Real McCoy.
Yes, sir.
Andy Dalton
sucks. No, I got to give it to Dalton. No, yesterday he played real cool and calm.
Yeah.
But
You're
I'm
giving
just
it to
waiting
Dalton?
to see what he plays against a playoff team, that's been in the playoffs before. That's what I'm waiting to see.
You play who's on the schedule. You don't make the schedule up as you go along.
I understand it, but I'm going to punch you in the gut real quick.
Oh, good.
Okay.
That's what I was hoping
Let's
for.
go.
That's right.
Remember last week when you said Baltimore was going to lose and they're going to have problems in the division?
That's right.
And what happened?
Baltimore won.
Okay, Baltimore.
I didn't say when they were going to lose.
But no, I just want to make sure you let everybody, you straight and level on the whole deal.
Time out here,
Good, that's
Go ahead.
good.
What's the time?
Some guy that looks like he couldn't get into Boogie Nights at the Hollywood Casino is going to straighten me out.
I got to go back to it. What's with the skillet and the sponge? I don't get it.
I'm soaking up everything.
Well, it's like the skillet.
The pot.
Help me out. The pot calling the skillet the sponge.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. At what point will you? And I know we're only 2 weeks into this thing, but at what point, Mike, will you come on here and at least admit that this team in this town is pretty good? What do they need?
Oh yeah,
to do?
let's get a barometer, like an actual physical score, and then we can schedule it.
That's right.
Go.
Don't the Bengals play Denver this year?
Yeah, like in the middle of December.
Well, who is a playoff team that's coming up? Tennessee is surely
Tennessee's not.
New England, I think, is coming up.
New England, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, New England.
And the Saints, I think, are both coming up.
New Orleans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's ever, like New England, if they're next, and Dalton looks good, the Bengals look good, and maybe I'll get on the bandwagon. But see, you got to understand.
All right, we're going to pin this down.
Okay.
All right, next week is the Titans.
Then it's a bye.
Then it's a bye. So the 5th of October, we've got the Patriots, at the Patriots. You got to admit.
Yes.
They win that game. Will you come on here and say what?
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to come on board until it's like, I'm just being honest.
No, you're not. You're not giving us an answer.
It'll be the week 17 against the Steelers.
Well, I'm being a politician. I'm just going to tell you what you want to hear.
Did you win any money yesterday?
Unfortunately, no.
Means no. Okay, when you're talking to somebody who's betting, it's either yes
I
or
give away. They just dumped me.
You were scared.
No.
Strott, did you want to do anything?
Sure, I did.
Well, why did you leave so early? You didn't work your full day. On Thursday.
Mike McCoy, literally, the real McCoy, runs through this place going, hey, who wants some action? I'll bet you this. I'll bet you that. You don't want to bet that? I'll make another one.
It doesn't matter. If you just want to bet, he'll take the other
side. He doesn't even care. It doesn't even need to be about football. It could be horse racing, right?
You're absolutely right about that. Now, that I know about.
He's right.
So you're a fan of the legal tender, is what you're a fan of.
I'm not going to say that. If you call yourself legal, yes.
I mean money. You're a fan of the legal tender.
Wow. How many times I got to tell you I make money?
By legal?
Excuse me?
What?
Well, I don't know.
Are you going to say, am I legitimate? I mean, come on. Mom's watching this thing.
She's in there making us snacks when we're in her basement.
Right, yeah. So let me get this straight. Andy Dalton
sucks.
And the Bengals
are decent.
And the Bengals are going to go to
not the playoffs.
Oh.
So you're saying they're 2-0, they're not going to the playoffs.
The backbench might want to put a wager on that.
Yeah.
If Mike is feeling frisky.
Wait a minute.
All right, what's the wager? Let's make this non-money.
Wait a minute, let me correct myself. They will make it to the playoffs, but they will not win a game to go on.
Yeah. Did you hear that guy in the Mr. Satin package? You hear that guy? That's how pervasive that feeling is. The guy in the Mr. Satin package, he walks in and says, "Who day?" And they go, "If they win a playoff game, I'll say it."
I will say this. I have been in this town since 1998. I've been here since 1998. All I want, honestly, God, all I want is for a home team to win a playoff game at home. That is all I want, and it hasn't happened.
So, hey, Mike's defense here. Mike's defense.
Yes.
We're checking on the Bengals schedule here. Playoff teams from last year. There are 5 on the schedule.
To come, correct?
To come. We have the Patriots.
Well, we haven't played one.
Not yet. No, we haven't played one yet.
Patriots.
Oh, that's not true. The Ravens. They were a wild card last year.
No,
they missed.
No, they were 8.
That's your
fact. Yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. No, you're right.
We need a new
5
reality.
playoff teams. Yeah, you need a new
reality.
You got the Patriots.
We got the Patriots. We got the Colts.
Yeah.
We got, of course, the Broncos, the aforementioned Broncos.
Yeah.
We have the. Oh, that might be it. Oh, the Panthers. We have the Panthers coming up. That's week 5.
Can we say goodbye to Catherine?
Oh, yeah. I have to go do radio. Sorry. I'm sorry. I've done television and now internet. Now I've got to be a true multimedia journalist and do radio.
You're a multi-platform
personality. Thank you, sir.
I can't tell you how wonderful it is. We finally got to work together.
So nice. Yeah. This is just beautiful.
Don't you love
it?
I
hope to be back.
You'll be back in 2 weeks. Don't hope for it. You're back in 2 weeks.
Well, that's a bye week. I can talk about anything I want.
Absolutely.
Awesome. I'll queue up Coffee, Elvis, and potentially like My Little Pony. That's what I'm really into.
My Little Pony?
That's what my kids are into.
Good,
That's what I have to talk about.
I'll bring some Care Bears in and we can have a big old time.
All right. We're on it.
Good.
All right, I'm out.
Now, back to the playoff teams, PJ.
Yeah, that's the lot of them. Oh, by the way, I looked up the sponge and the spot. What was? That's not real. That's not a real thing. That's not. I couldn't find that anywhere on the internet.
That's almost like the pot called the skillet black, but I used the sponge in place of the black.
Let me just.
That makes perfect sense to us back here.
Yes, absolutely.
Are you willing, Strotman, Mike? Are you willing to make a bet right now that the Bengals will win a playoff game? Are you willing to put money on it, Mike?
I definitely am.
Are you willing to put money on it?
Definitely.
Okay. How much are we betting here? Not that any of this is legal, by the way.
He's a $5 man.
Yeah.
$5 man. All right. Will you guys bet $5?
Thing more than
$5. The Bengals win a playoff game. Mike, are you going to say yes on that?
Mike will say that. Mike will say that every year.
You
would have bet that every year.
Okay. So we got a little gibberish going on this.
Yeah.
That's good.
We can do more if you want. But
yeah. No, 5's good. 5's a good number. Nobody gets broke. Kids don't have to have their meal money taken away. $5 is good. But I think that's good now. Now we got a little thing going here.
Well, you better go in and let him have $5 because he don't have
it. you know why I like them to win a playoff game? Because they're winning with their backups, and they're you're a strong team if you can win with your reserves, and they played well yesterday with reserves. Dalton really didn't have any weapons to throw.
Wait, Brian's going to say something for the first time in weeks. Go ahead.
Yeah. I agree with that, but the thing is, we don't know who they're going to play in the playoffs yet. You could see us in the first round being up against Denver, and that's a tough game.
Or the Chargers.
Well, they play Denver. Denver's going to get it.
So
I mean, on paper, they're going to be one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the conference.
Yeah.
I think that's true. I mean, I want them to win. I'm always going to want them to win.
Yeah,
but I'm going to have trouble believing they're going to win a playoff game until they do it.
They're playing tough.
And to be fair, I don't think they'll play Denver in the first round because I think
they might even get a bye.
They might. I think Denver's number 1 seed, Bengals number 2 seed. We get a bye. Yeah. We play Denver in the AFC Championship game. That's what I think.
Mike,
9 games is not going to get you into the playoffs.
They'll win 11 and 12 probably.
That brings up a good point. We do have a poll on our website right now, WCPO.com/FlyingPigskin.
Wow.
How many games do you think the Bengals are going to win this year? 8 or less, 9 to 11, or 12 or more? And my money's on 12 or more.
What?
No.
Oh, come on.
What would you, Mike McCoy, what would you pick on that poll?
He said 9.
9 wins, and then they don't make the playoffs?
I'm going to pull a Leon Jones, 8-8.
Wow. Leon's being...
No way.
I'm going.
Especially now, you might have been able to say that before the season started, but now that they're 2-0,
9 will get you. 9 is going to win this division. I'm telling you.
Absolutely.
Because the Ravens are not. They're not that good. The Browns aren't that good, and the Steelers look like clowns on Thursday.
Leave my Browns alone. They won yesterday.
They played the Saints.
I don't care. As long as you win, like you said, if you win, a win is a win, right?
Are you saying the Saints aren't any good?
They're 0-2. They look like it was their first day in long pants yesterday. And by the way, 26 points. They had to stop there in Cleveland because they can't count higher than that. So it's like,
you know what?
Who's the best team you've seen so far?
That's what I was going to say.
Best team of any team you've seen in the NFL so far?
Cincinnati.
This year. No. I mean, I love this show. I want to do it, but it's not Cincinnati.
Well, the way the Chargers played yesterday, you can't take anything from them.
How about Seattle?
They lost yesterday. They got a good butt whooping yesterday. They really did.
Sunday though.
They lost to San Diego.
Everybody's gonna lose a game here and there.
The way the Chargers played yesterday, it was just phenomenal the way they played yesterday. You just can't take anything from them. So I like the way
David
they played
Rivers
yesterday.
is a really good quarterback. When he's on, he can really tear you up.
Most surprising team to me, most surprising team in a positive sense, Buffalo.
Yeah.
Buffalo wins at Chicago. They go home and they beat the Dolphins yesterday. Buffalo looks pretty darn good.
Well, they all look good. Look at what happened to the 49ers yesterday.
Yeah.
They lost to Chicago.
I know.
So, you know, it's a give and take. But Kent, let's re-examine something really, honestly. The Bengals have been playing well, not great.
Right.
It's always like, oh, you want them to do really well, and then all of a sudden that's this big letdown from the Bengals. I've had that before. It leaves a bad taste in your mouth, and that's why I kind of like, I can't stick with them like glue. They just,
I know what you're saying.
They don't take you over the hump. They get you up here, and then they drop you.
And you know why you feel that? I'm not trying to tell you why you feel that way, but I am. I think there are a lot of people that feel that way in this town. It's because of all of the playoff disappointment and the fact that they were so bad for so long. We just know at the end of the day that we're going to have our hearts broken. And I don't know any way around that except you just win a playoff game and then you just move on. Just keep winning. But until that happens, you're going to get about an Andy Dalton suck. You're going to get that because he hasn't won a playoff game. I called it. I wrote a story for WCPO.com called the "Yeah But." It's like Andy Dalton was no interceptions. Yeah, but he hasn't won a playoff game. Andy Dalton threw 3 touchdown passes. Yeah, but he settled for 5 field goals in the first week. And there's always that yeah, but, and it will be there until they actually do something in the postseason.
Well, I don't think it's going to happen this year. First of all, his wallet is weighing him down.
Yeah.
The kind of contract they gave him. You know, it's the Bengals are the Bengals.
Yeah.
They are who they are. You know, and what happens, Stroughton was talking about they have backup role players. Well, these starters are awful daggone good. Burfict, that guy shouldn't have been playing yesterday. What are they trying to do, kill him? You could tell that he wasn't right in his mind with a concussion. No. And you mean to tell me, I'm surprised that the league is not going to come in and look at that tape and say, wait a minute, why is this man out here on the field?
Right. Didn't the referee have to tell the officials get off the field?
Exactly. So what are you trying to do to players like him? He's the heart and soul of your defense, and you're going to let him stay out there and just damage himself maybe for the rest of the year?
Hey, injury updates just coming in this morning. No word on Vontaze yet. He's going to be evaluated. They'll take a look at him. AJ Green could be out this week as well. They're speculating that that's a possibility because it was an aggravation of an injury last week. And who do we have on the line that got hurt
Kevin
there
Zeitler.
too? That's right. No word on him yet either. But yeah, those three guys all going down. But hey, going back to the quarterback point, you might not need a great, epic legacy quarterback in this league to get into the playoffs and be very successful. Here are the standings in the NFL right now. The 2-0 teams. The Arizona Cardinals.
With a backup quarterback yesterday.
Exactly, with a backup quarterback. The Houston Texans with Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Or Patrick Fitzryan.
Exactly, a Harvard grad. And then the Buffalo Bills are also 2-0. And none of those teams, and yeah, of course, the Broncos and Cam Newton with the Panthers, but Cam Newton's no superstar.
Hey, look at the Ravens in 2000 with Trent Dilfer. Look at the Buccaneers in 2002 with Brad Johnson. You can win as long. Most of these games, you just don't beat yourself. You don't beat yourself, you win. By the way, did you used to be the lead singer with the Stylistics? Because you look like Russell Tompkins Jr. with that hair.
Gee, I saw somebody who looks like you do.
Oh my God!
She
God!
walks like you do.
Oh boy!
I never
I thought it was you.
Oh my God! All right.
Hey,
don't you love it?
This is my man right here, the real McCoy. I think we had a good show today.
Yes, sir.
I think we had a good. What do you think, man? I thought we had a good show.
I think it's a great show. Mike's hair accoutrement that he brought today, I think, is the best part from improvements from last week.
Huh?
Yeah.
Are we back on next week, by the way? Have they renewed us? Or are we on?
Well, I think it's a week. We have a 10-day contract.
Oh, well,
floating,
take us through next Monday.
a floating 10. Well, this is the back end of the first 10 days. It's a floating 10-day contract. So we'll have to talk with Mr. Brogan, see what he thinks. But yes, I think it's a very good performance today.
Yes, and to follow up, Catherine asked me earlier to find cheapest ticket prices.
Yeah,
oh, there it is again. He did it again.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's great.
Well, he's in the shot.
I feel like I'm right
You look like
behind
one of
you.
those floats in the Thanksgiving Day
This is
parade.
creepy. My head should never be this big. That should never ever happen.
I kind of liked it.
Cheap. Well, we can do it again if you want. I'm
No,
here.
please, I can't take that.
I'm hovering over again. Cheapest ticket price in the NFL, this is MSRP, so to speak, on Ticketmaster, is your Tampa Bay Buccaneers at a $30 nosebleed corner of the stadium ticket. We got the Bengals at $44. That's the cheapest ticket that they offer. And I did just tweet out to WCPO's Twitter account, if you want to take your family to the game, we have a whole interactive. It tells you what a beer costs, tells you what a ticket costs. You can do a little calculation. Hashtag Flying Pigskin. You can find that real easy.
Thank you, PJ.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Thanks to DJ and Popo and Larry Smith.
Yep. Catherine Nero.
Catherine Nero, of course, our co-host this week. And we're back next Monday at 7 a.m. And we hope you're with us. There's the guys that make it happen. Thank you, Furniture Fair. And as always, these shows are not only live, they're available on demand. I'm telling you, this is why the internet was invented. The Flying Pigskin Show returns next Monday at 7 a.m. and only on WCPO.com.